So today we're here to talk about The Ghost Monument, the second episode of Series 11. This was also written by Chris Chibnall, the same guy that is the new showrunner and also wrote last week's episode,
Indeed.
The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Which, by the way,
the director...
he does not write the next episode if I saw it correctly, correct? Correct.
Correct, I believe.
Cool, correct. So this next episode is the first time we see Chibnall let go of the reins for an episode, so to speak. I mean, obviously he's still running the show and stuff, and I think the direction will be pretty similar, but just the writing in it, I wonder, the dialogue will be different.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what comes out of these characters. But anyway, we'll talk about that after. Because in this episode, we get more really good character stuff, I think. If you don't remember, in the last episode, it ended with them just kind of floating around in space. And as was predicted, they didn't die there, and the series didn't end. They were picked up, which I thought was actually interesting, by two separate ships.
Yeah, that was the twist. I was going to be a little bit annoyed.
The twist. A early twist.
I assumed by the end of the last episode, very similar to Classic Who, because it was based very much around how Classic Who was structured. The end cliffhanger would be resolved almost immediately. So I assumed when the episode started, there was ship would come in.
I wonder if that was
Didn't expect to.
I wonder if that was intentional for like an homage to Old Who, which
Maybe.
could totally be, or just like it's a thing that happens on episodic, like serialized TV shows. So
I could see both. This is one of the only problems I actually had with the episode. Not one of the only problems, but a problem I had with the episode. Weird pacing in not the first scene. The first scene where Ryan wakes up in Graham's there, I thought was pretty good.
I like that. It was slow.
Sure. But then the next scene, when it cuts over to the doctor, Yaz, and the other guy on the other ship...
It's hectic.
It was a little hectic, but the pacing didn't feel correct for the amount of hectic it was. And somehow, I don't know what it was in the shooting. I feel like the director of this episode is probably someone who shoots drama, mostly, and shoots very well. The character scenes, again, are shot great. But I get the feeling they're not used to directing action. I could be wrong, but I'll put up the name of the director or whatever, and maybe some of their credits up here. But it felt to me like they were like, okay, I gotta shoot an action scene. How do I shoot it? And like all the elements were there, but not quite in the right amount.
So they didn't cut enough, is what you're saying.
I don't know if it...
Because usually action scenes cut a lot in our hand cam.
I don't even necessarily think it was that. It was the placement of the camera. It was the way it was doing, and they're doing typical, like, Star Trek, we're shaking the camera, so the ship is shaking.
No, they didn't shake the camera. I mean, they may have, but the things in the on set shook.
Okay.
Not okay. I mean, it happened.
To
you
me,
can run the clip right now.
I think they also shook the camera,
Maybe they did. I'm saying, one of the things I noticed in that scene was, wow, the sets are way better.
I feel like Jodie and the guy, not necessarily Yaz, but I noticed with Jodie and the guy, it felt a little unnatural to me the way they were moving. So even if the set was shaking a little bit, I feel like they were acting a little bit over
maybe. I don't
that.
know. I was, like I said, I was looking at the sets at that point because it looked more real.
I think that's just, again, a product of how the show's shot. I think the set's about the same quality as you would get in a previous season.
It was specifically how there were screens like moving and the chairs actually moved. Like in a real vehicle, like you've been on an airplane, things kind of move around while you're on there. Like there's a motion to it.
I assume they built
especially
it on
in turbulence.
platform.
Absolutely, but what I'm saying is they haven't done that typically. It's always been camera work, shaking. Like on TARDIS scenes, famously, Matt Smith is like, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? They're just like doing this with the camera.
Yeah.
Like even if the whole set wasn't going like this, the fact that things were shaking, like the pod she comes out of, the door looks so like an RV.
Yeah.
Not aesthetically speaking, but just like quality wise,
it
gave me a very. And she mentions like it's like a shitty ship, and before she says that, I think, wow, this ship is shitty. And so I think the set design, I don't know what's changed necessarily. I don't know what part of that's changed at the BBC. I don't know how a showrunner changeover changes the jobs there.
I don't know.
But I noticed the set design immediately. After this scene, they. Well, one of them lands and one of them crash lands.
You know what bugs... This isn't a problem with this episode. This is a problem with anything that tries to do the north by northwest shot where, oh, there's a plane or something and it's coming and you gotta run away from it.
Yeah.
Because classic film scene, move to the right or left, guys. Or if it's coming at you...
That's what I thought.
Run towards it so it'll...
That's what I thought immediately. Well, or towards it, although... a case could be made for we would never actually think of that in the situation.
Sure.
Right or left, I thought, and then it lands down in there, and then the wings are like scraping along the banks there, and I thought, well, that's not going to work either. So it was fine, but I agree. I literally had all of those thoughts as it was happening. Every time I see that, I think that as well. Yeah, I agree. I think the crash was fine.
The effects were great in this episode. Again, showcasing the new studio they have working on the effects this year.
The special effects are great.
The crash and the shot when you see the landed ship, and it just kind of does a pan around, and you see sort of the desert. You see the trinary star system, I guess would be the word.
Very interesting, and also not a biome planet, a planet with many biomes, like a real planet.
Oh yeah, I guess it did. It was a desert.
There's a lake, and then there's so it's got like actual like. It was mostly desertified. I mean, it's got 3 stars, but there was a lake with murder water. And I don't know. I thought the whole thing was good. And I also we take some time with Graham, and why can't I think of his name right now? Ryan, thank you. On that boat, when they get there after some shit.
I thought all the conversations on the boat were excellent. Great. It took maybe 10-15 minutes of the episode.
I know. I thought we got a lot of time with them, and they got to talk about hey, your grandmother just fucking died. Why aren't we discussing this?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, you talk about it too much. You don't talk about it enough. I thought it was a really good moment. And I really like how those 2 actors play off each other. I feel like they shouldn't connect.
Yeah, I have a feeling I already know how this arc is going to go, though. It's going to be... They'll get closer through these adventures, maybe by season finale, or maybe next year if they stay on for another year. I don't know. Graham will end up sacrificing himself for Ryan, and in that moment, Ryan will go, "Granddad, no!" or something. Or he'll be like... Or I'll say something to him that
sounds very Moffat cynicism, so I'm going to lay off that for now.
They've brought up he's not calling him Granddad twice in a row in 2 episodes.
I agree.
I get the feeling they're very much building to that.
I don't think that's going to be his sacrifice moment.
We'll see.
I feel like I could be wrong. Just maybe it's a pacing thing.
Maybe.
I feel like mid-season or so.
Okay.
We're getting he'll call him something after they have a bonding moment. Maybe Graham dies at some point. I think it's better if we don't have that. And we just have him leaving.
They set up he had cancer and he's in remission, so maybe...
Right, I think that might be... I think it's more interesting if he just kind of dies of natural causes and the doctor can't help. I think that's more sad.
That's hard to get into, though, because the doctor has medical technology from the future and has used it on other people before.
What I'm assuming is there's a...
Fixed point or something?
A thing that just can't happen for some reason. Whether it's a fixed point or whether it's something else. I wouldn't be surprised if you do this thing, maybe it's part sacrificial, I can't reverse it.
You know
what I mean? And I inject the thing so we can do the thing, so we can save the person or the thing. And so I think it'd be interesting to play off that because I think Doctor Who exploring cancer is important and good.
Yeah.
Especially because we as seeing, the Doctor curing cancer is kind of a...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has no effect.
Yeah.
Not being able to is very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not about this. We didn't get a lot of Yaz in this.
No, the first 2 episodes haven't. I'm thinking either in the next episode...
Well, the first one had a good amount of Yaz in the garage with just him and Ryan.
I know, but Ryan and Graham obviously got more, and they got a lot in the second episode. In fairness, this almost felt like a 2-parter. It led right into another, and it actually connects, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But, Yaz, I think, will get more character development, at least I hope so, in the next couple episodes. Mm-hmm. If not, then it appears that she's kind of getting pushed to the side in favor of the Graham-Ryan thing, which is interesting, but you do have that third companion. I assume she's there for a reason. She'll do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she's a police officer. The next one's going to be Rosa Parks. Yeah. I gotta imagine the 2 women are going to be,
I think so.
More important.
Yeah. But
Ryan's black.
Yeah.
So...
Who knows? He's English, though, so slightly different history there.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, in America, it doesn't matter. Not in America.
Yeah. Makes me sad, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, the premise of this episode was pretty interesting.
So.
It was set up that, basically, there's these 2 people, the people that picked up the different pairs, respectively.
It's like an amazing race.
Yeah, they're doing
That's what I imagined. Did you get it right away?
Yeah. It's like an amazing race across the stars, or as the doctor put it, like Car de Paris, which is like a famous Parisian car race. Anyway, So they get brought along. I forget the guy's name. Something Malik, I think. Is
I really
his name.
liked the actor.
Yeah.
He has a cool voice.
He's there in a holographic tent. He's a hologram. He says,
oh, not that guy. The other
okay.
guy. The actual, the
bearded
contestant guy. I liked his
time.
voice a lot, and I thought the character was interesting.
Okay.
He was just kind of like a dick, but he...
Here's again why I like the slower pace and the focus on characters.
Let's spend some time. He's not a caricature, he's a character.
The time they took to talk about that story with his mom, I was like, oh, there you go. There's this character. I get it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I wish the woman had gotten I know her family's dead, but other than that, maybe a little more specifics into the backstory. But
do you know what? By the way, this is a... I'm going to try not to do it throughout this whole season.
Okay.
Maybe even into the second season it'll happen, though. A thing happened that Moffat would have probably ruined 5 times out of 6.
Yeah, I know what you're what you're talking about.
Yeah, and my, that thing killed my wife. It killed my wife too. And then she starts weeping. It wasn't I'm a lesbian. It was that's fucking sad.
Her wife's dead.
Yeah, God, it was good. I was so happy with that moment because I didn't know what she was going to say, and it just happened so organically that I was like, oh. And then I thought, hey! There was no other mention of it. The only other mention of anything that I thought Moffat would have ruined as well, that I thought was good, come to Papa, Mama.
That was kind of funny. I like that.
It was a funny show. It was obvious that, when it started to happen, there's a split-second view that goes, here it comes. But even on top of that, I think the delivery is good. I think she was pretty good in this episode, the Doctor.
Yeah,
she wasn't as strong as I thought she was going to be in this episode, but I don't think it was really about her as much as...
See, I found some of the stuff she did with it very interesting. 2 things. Firstly, I like this continued... She's trying to be optimistic. She's very much... I'm trying to be optimistic all the time.
I really like the idea of forced optimism in a Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's trying very hard not to be Capaldi, basically. And I don't mean in the meta actor sense. Maybe she is, but I'm thinking in the text, the Doctor themselves is trying to be like, I'm the Doctor, I'll be happy and I gotta go do stuff. But I like that kind of broke apart at the end, and she couldn't keep it up anymore, and she was like, they're like, what are we gonna do now? She's like, no, what do you mean, what are we gonna do now? Nothing, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. And they're like, we haven't given up yet, and then it takes the companions, being like,
it makes them, I really like that moment. I thought, the middle area, usually when, the strongest Matt Smith stuff or Tennant stuff happens, that wasn't where she was strongest. She was strongest in the later moments, when usually we're just, fucking Moffat, sucking his own dick again. Yeah. No, this was, the Doctor doesn't really solve the problem. The problem kind of worked itself out.
Yeah.
I don't did you notice how she kept doing the,
I noticed when she did
it twice.
She's doing it very, very swishy.
I think I like that. Yeah. There's a flair to it. I really dig the outfit in full, a full episode's worth of action. I think it works well for dramatic scenes. It's got a lot of flow to it, but also it's not Zooey Deschanel quirky, where it's annoying, but it's quirky Doctor quirky.
Yeah.
So it works for me. I think a guy could wear this same outfit, a spindly one.
Yeah.
And it would work out just fine. And so
the only thing that bugs me is the pants are a little high. I know that's
that's what it's supposed to be, but yeah, I get it. I think longer pants sometimes would also look cool. Yeah. Honestly, I was hoping for I don't know, in this next one, a period thing, because there's usually. I don't know if you guys noticed this. There's usually a future outfit and a past outfit, and sometimes they intermingle. And then
how Tennant had 2 suits at one point.
Tennant has 2 suits. The Doctor, Matt Smith has 2 suits. Capaldi has the holy shirt and then the magician jacket. And then sometimes they move around when there's not really a lot of time travel involved. But I'm wondering if this outfit has its alt.
I'm guessing
because we're going into the past, so
I'm guessing for right now they're just going to stick with it because it's only episode 3. I could see later them adding some different stuff and throwing some different stuff in there, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking I wouldn't mind a pinstriped vest.
Sure.
without the jacket, like kind of a rolled up sleeve.
Oh yeah, I could see her.
It was kind of like it was in the first episode
when
a little bit, but it was obviously big on her.
Yeah.
But like a fitted pinstripe. I don't know. I think it looked good.
It would. Okay, so the actual.
Let's talk about the aliens.
The
monsters of the week. There's two monsters. There's the robots.
Okay, fair enough.
Which are pretty cool. They're fine.
They get to an area that's, we learn later, is a research lab, a weapon research lab, and it's being guarded by a bunch of robots. We get another really good scene with the Doctor and the companions where after they hide from them, Ryan wants to go take one of their guns and shoot them. There was a cringy moment in that, but I'll talk about that.
Calls of Duty's it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna shoot him, you know. She's like, no, I don't use guns. Good Doctor explaining why she doesn't like guns moment. He goes out, shoots him anyway. Doesn't work. Yells Call of Duty while he's doing it or something like that.
He didn't yell Call of Duty, but it was almost...
No, he literally went... I've seen it twice. When he goes out...
He yells Call of Duty?
Yes!
I thought he yelled, I've played Call of Duty, I've practiced.
And then he goes out and yells it.
He yells Call of Duty?
Yeah,
I should watch it again.
Watch it again.
Either way, I didn't really care for that very much. It felt like...
and also his dyspraxia does not come into play when shooting aliens for some reason.
Well, he's practiced a lot.
On the video. That's the same as...
Yeah, no, it didn't work for me that much.
No, it got across the point that the Doctor doesn't like guns. They had to get it somehow.
I did like Ryan's scream, though. I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
The scream was funny.
That scream.
Goes,
I hope that's a reaction we get again.
I hope Ryan's scream guy.
Yeah. Those robots, I think they were underutilized, actually. I wouldn't have minded if they were the only monster in the episode. They had a good look.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of, like, if Boston Dynamics took their, like, dog robot and, like, made it a humanoid.
You just mean 2 years from now when they murder us.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. The real monsters were kind of like bandage monsters.
So Doctor Who.
It's very Doctor Who. It doesn't work in pretty much any other setting, but Doctor Who, it was fine. Did you notice the one thing they said, too, to the Doctor? See, I think this is going to be our through line. I was going to bring this up. I don't remember the exact quote. I think it was like child of...
The timeless child.
The timeless child. Which is not... It can't be the Doctor.
I don't think so.
And then she goes like, what did you say? And there's a moment. I think this is our mystery box.
It's that.
But I don't think... it's not as crack in the wall... Impossible girly.
See, it's gonna be that and something to do with the Stenza, I'd imagine, because we find out that the weapons lab was run by the Stenza, the same race, Toothface aliens from episode 1. So I'm guessing they're gonna be the reoccurring villains this season.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I was thinking that, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, because I don't know what the Rosa Parks thing even...
I think that'll be a standalone, but I think the Stenza will be the finale monster, for lack of a better word.
I'm really wondering what that is, though. I'm very interested when we have these little threads. Who knows? It might not even pick up.
Actually,
for a while.
Remember, I said when he came into this job, he had a 5-year plan for. So it's entirely possible we're not going to find out what the timeless child is for 3 to 5 years. Who knows?
I think a mystery box works when it's the long game. For instance, the movie 7 is a very good mystery box.
Sure.
Anything with an actual twist. The Sixth Sense. Because, like, things are weird, and on second viewing, obvious.
It just all needs to be planned out really well.
Right. So it can't be, here's why you come back next week. We're here because Rosa Parks' episode's coming up and it looks interesting. Yeah. We're here because she just got her TARDIS back, which we'll talk about. We're here for many other reasons. We're not here. They didn't do a splash shot of the crack in the wall. Like, come back next week.
Which I'm thankful for.
This is how you do that concept justice.
More like Russell T Davies, honestly.
Yes.
Occasionally in Russell T Davies, a character would comment something to the Doctor would take note of that, it might carry on in another episode.
I'm really hoping that we get a blink or a listen in this season. Something either transformative like Blink or just a super interesting concept like Listen.
Okay.
Like, because I think Listen's the only episode without a monster. And Blink's the only episode that really isn't about the Doctor at all.
Yeah.
At all. He's just there at the end.
I don't know if Chibnall's going to want to experiment too much this season. We'll see. I hope so too, but I'm...
Not necessarily, I don't think a Blink, but I think closer to a Listen we'll get. Like, maybe there's like sitting in a room and having a conversation with the Doctor, I think is a really good episode that's never really happened in New Who.
Sure.
So, something like that. I don't know, anything. I'm not a writer, but moving on.
Yeah, okay, so the race, it was just a race. The race plot itself, the one thing I didn't actually like about it, I didn't get the sense of, out of him, I got competitiveness, but at no point, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain.
I don't think she was competitive. I think she was doing it for the reason she said.
But if she really wanted to save her family, she wouldn't, like, obviously they can't hurt each other. That was in the rules. They explained they can't harm her. But, like, she's constantly helping him, and he's constantly kind of going along with it.
Implicit in this, though, it's taken years.
Yeah.
And so they have a bond. Like, they know a lot about each other, and I wish we would have had a sit-down conversation with just the two of them chumming it up when they couldn't travel.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like,
maybe there's a
like sharing, like literally just like having a drink, sharing a piece of bread, and hanging out, and not really talking a lot. Maybe they're still giving each other shit, but like, oh, do you need, here, I'll bandage that up for you, and then he's like being
maybe implied they'd save each other's ass a couple times.
Imply a a respect.
Maybe they teamed up at one point earlier and made, like, you know how these reality shows go, you get alliances, but maybe now it's down to two, so the alliance
got that idea through the dialogue without having that scene, but I think having that scene would have reinforced it to make the last moment a little bit better, and it would have taken 30 seconds.
Yeah,
we could have easily trimmed, 5 seconds here and there off travel shots to fit that in, and I think it would be just fine.
They never had to. They could have spent the time like talking about the poison water, which never comes into play in the entire episode. They avoided it, yeah. Like they avoided it, and they used a boat to travel over it, so you didn't need to.
I think the idea was it's a desert. You also can't drink the water. We have a day. Like that was supposed to make. But like that was supposed to make the end. Like we won't survive another cycle.
Think about this. It could have been a desert with no water, and instead of a boat, it's like a boat. I agree. But they put tires on it, so it looks like.
Totally agree. It usually as a like if you have a rifle on the wall, you gotta shoot it by the second scene.
Yeah. It really felt like they're like, we gotta shoot a thing. Where are we gonna shoot it? Okay, we'll have it be an interior of a vehicle. What kind of vehicle? A boat.
In a boat because you can't leave it, and why can't they leave it? Because the water is fucked. But it never comes into play. I get it. Yeah. I think if they had a little more time, we probably would have gotten both of these things.
Sure.
To come into play.
These episodes are already like running 5 to 10 minutes longer than last season.
I will take this over some of the just absurd that we've gotten in the past. Shout out Kill the Moon. And
In the Forests of the Night, Magic Bush.
Why? Never mind. So I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna do it.
Did the bush kidnap the sister? Was that what was happening? Was she dead?
Nobody died in this episode.
You're right. They didn't.
I love that.
That was cool. You know what else I like? I like at the end when whatever his name Malik is, the guy who's running the race. I love how little we learn about this race. This is great. This is great Doctor Who world building. Yeah. In that it like. There's a race, you get it. You don't need to understand more, and when the race is done, they're like, okay, take these people too. And he goes, no. And they're gone. And we'll probably, maybe in the finale, if they do a big everyone comes together thing, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Sure.
We're probably never going to see them again. Never going to hear about this.
We might hear of them in dialogue mixed in with other... You know how she sometimes, formerly he, would drop in, like, name drops of things?
Sure.
I think that might happen.
But I don't think we're ever going to directly confront this race again.
Yeah, I don't really see a need to unless directly confronting the Stenza
involves it somehow.
Involves that, because they're cleansing folks. But who knows at this point?
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the TARDIS because we're there. So
at the end of the episode, the ghost monument shows up. It's the TARDIS. We knew that from the beginning of the episode.
By the way, another Moffat thing. They just showed you what you already knew. Immediately. Oh, the ghost monument. Is that the TARDIS? Boop. It's the TARDIS. Literally show you, like, a minute after you think to yourself, that's probably the TARDIS. It wasn't it's the TARDIS? Oh, what? Fuck, man. That's so refreshing. It was so nice. I remember thinking in that moment, thank you for not making me have to fucking wait for the thing I knew.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we get the TARDIS. An interesting mix from what we normally get, which is kind of fun. The outside is a little bit different. The blue, I think, is a little bit darker. The white pulled to open, and then the instructions on the door, they are black now. The windows are a little bit different. But externally, it's still the TARDIS. It's just a little bit different color-wise. Inside, very different. I'd almost call this like...
This is like even close to what it used to be. It's not in a bad way.
I'd call this like a reimagining of sort of Tenet's, kind of updated. It's more along those lines, or it looks more natural. You obviously on the walls you have sort of not the normal roundels, but they're round and they have sort of brown.
They're called roundels.
The holes in the TARDIS.
Wait, did you make that word up?
No, Doctor Who made that up. Roundels.
Oh, they've been calling it round things for about 5 years now. So
no, roundels is what they. Used to
okay.
call.
Oh,
anyway,
interesting.
So. They kind of have that going on, which is
cool.
It's much darker, even than Capaldi.
I wonder if we're gonna get some lighting.
I don't know
when it gets in there.
You know what I liked about it? There was a camera angle that almost looked like it was from outside of the console room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like up in the rafters,
and it's like you could see sort of the surrounding walls, and there's sort of blue lights coming through the walls, which I like because it implies the external blueness of the TARDIS.
It also implies. Like how close they are to the outside of it, even though they're deep inside of it.
Yeah, to me, that camera shot very much says like dimensional things are smaller inside.
Right? Yeah,
and camera angle.
And I don't know if they're ever going to explain why it looks this way, but it must have to do with how she made the Sonic. Because so the Stensis technology is in there, and I wonder if that's going to come into play.
I'm curious too, because obviously you have the one thing I don't particularly like. I wish that
is how they come over top and kind of block things.
I wish they just went up. That would be fine, and did some light things maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it from an interior. Like if you were standing in the console, I think it'd be fine. But as a third party,
it makes it look crowded.
Yeah. And maybe it's supposed to, and. Because they do a lot of close-up shots, I don't think it's really going to matter.
They're not going to do a ton of big...
Right.
That Capaldi's era was really great for this. I love Capaldi's console room more than Matt Smith's, even though they're essentially the same one.
Capaldi's second room.
Yeah. Because he brought in bookcases and stuff, and there were
Loved
chalkboards, and it looked lived in. That was cool. There were lots of big, wide shots where you could see the whole thing. I don't think we're going to be getting that in the TARDIS as much.
His looked more of like a big old library, which I really dug. But I kind of like this... Oh, it's very alien.
Yeah.
I think that's the best word to describe it right now. It's very alien. And by the way, did you notice there are facets of that Matt Smith Tenet era in there with the spindlies? Like there was even a TARDIS toy.
You know what that is? The giant center thing, which is normally the thing that goes that doesn't move now. It's just a solid crystal. So I'm thinking the visual signifier of the TARDIS is flying is going to be that thing spinning around.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of wish...
Well, I like the cranks and...
I wish there was at least a light or something in the middle thing. I like the middle thing, but...
Well, did it not do anything? I have to watch it again.
It wasn't in... We didn't see it in flight, in fairness, yet.
So I think it might light up. I think they all might light up.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But,
the fact that it's a smaller console
gave
room,
her a cookie?
It has a cookie
or
dispenser.
A biscuit, I'm sorry.
Biscuit.
Sorry, England. A biscuit.
I heard someone online, several people mention a custard dispenser that they saw as well.
That makes sense.
Which I didn't notice, but if that's awesome. In there, that's a good touch.
That's awesome.
So I'm trying to think what else.
I really like the idea of the Doctor tethering him or herself to feelings like that. Kind of like how normal people do. Like a smell of like grandma's house or like the fish fingers and custard, which I don't think it was overdone, but it was right up, bumping up to it.
Yeah.
Because Moffat was the Moffat. And, I don't know, I just think kind of like having like the almost tombstones. It's not, and not in a macabre way, like,
a thing to remember his past companions.
But it's pretty much a tombstone. Like, because is she ever going to eat that custard? No.
You know what's interesting? I don't remember where I heard this. Crap. In Capaldi's TARDIS, the things that spun around at the top that were all things in Gallifreyan. I don't remember if this was from Moffat or not. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I heard he said at one point, those are supposed to be the names of all those past companions in Gallifreyan.
Ooh, I wonder if that is.
I don't know. There's no official Gallifreyan language. Like
there's some generators and stuff.
But it's like, it's an algorithm. There's no official, like, you can't learn the language like Klingon.
Yeah.
So.
I really like the design. I'm looking forward to an Inside the TARDIS episode, or at least a long scene.
The fact that the console room's a little bit smaller, or at least looks it, makes me hope they spent a little bit of that budget and did some more TARDIS stuff.
I don't think they're worried about budget right now. They're
like,
going all in on this.
Since we have 3 companions again, let's see them hanging out in other parts of the TARDIS. Yeah. Maybe a lounge area, maybe their bedrooms, because we know companions get their own bedrooms. There's a thing that I don't think has it ever been shown in TV? I don't know if it has. But on the TARDIS, it's been mentioned many times in like audios and books. It's called a zero room.
What's that?
Which is a room. If you're having a bad regeneration, they have these on Gallifrey as well. It takes you in there, and it's like a soundproof room, but instead of being soundproof, it is psychic proof. So when you're regenerating, you're like taking in so much psychic energy and influence from other things. You go into the zero room, it's all silent and it's just you, so it helps you parse out the you from the rest because you're regenerating.
That's
and
an
finding
interesting
the you.
Concept. Maybe her death scene will take place in there.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool. We've never seen the zero room. So.
Also, I think Gallifrey's going to be mixed in here.
I don't know if they will this season.
Not this season necessarily.
But next season probably.
Yeah, but at some point... It's got to be happening with this Doctor, I think, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Okay, so 2 more things. Firstly, new intro.
The intro. How do you feel?
I feel this is fucking awesome.
It's very cool. It's liquidy and weird, and they're going for such an organic sort of...
It looks like the first Doctor Who opening from, again, the first Doctor, where it was just...
it's very wobbly.
Where it's like that, but just redone. And you know the best part about this? Which I love. Remember Capaldi's intro when there's that fan who did the clocks one, and then Stephen Moffat saw it and was like, "Oh, that's great. You mind if we we do that?" Mm-hmm. And then they copied it, like with his permission. Yeah, that guy actually did the new intro.
Oh, dope!
Like not even like, oh, he came up with the concept. He did it.
I really want to know what Chibnall's like direction on that is.
Because he probably showed him the classic Doctor Who one and said, "Do this, but cooler and colors." And
you think?
Yeah,
that's it.
I think so.
Did you think he showed him the TARDIS interior? Because I feel like he did.
Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's brown and orange and cosmic-y in all the right ways, but also it's so tactile. It's very interesting. The music I don't like as much.
You don't? I
but
love
it's gonna grow on me, I know it.
I like it better than the Capaldi era one, because I thought the Capaldi era one was going for retro, but went a little too high-pitched. This one
I don't like it as much
perfect.
as Smith before they change it.
I get you. Yeah.
It's more weird. I like weird music in general. I think I'm really gonna like this as it moves in. But kind of I don't know, that theme has always sort of been like how people in the 80s probably felt the final countdown was.
Maybe. I do like that they brought back the part of the song that's like dun 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 dun. That's been gone for a little bit.
Yeah. It's very cool. I'm
really good.
I'm looking forward to it. What's the second thing?
The second thing is going to be the next time trailer. Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay. Next episode is called Rosa. It is about Rosa Parks.
Indeed.
This episode is either going to be one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever made.
Really?
Or possibly...
one of the worst?
Cringy and poorly handled.
I don't know.
This is a sensitive topic, even if you're an American television writer, and you're like, okay, we got to write a Rosa Parks episode involving.
Do you think it's going to be very?
Travel.
Well, because it's not an American show, I don't think it's going to suck our dick.
That's not.
And that's why I think it's going to be a refreshing take and not an insensitive one.
Here's the thing. It's definitely not going to go into the real story of Rosa Parks.
I don't think she's going to go, you should sit at the back of the bus, and it's happenstance that you ended up helping the ACLU get rights for black folks. I do not think that's what's going to happen. Moffat, maybe. He likes to give the Doctor credit for shit. I think what they're going to do is she's going to be like, let's go see some, like, an amazing woman, Rosa Parks, after the trial or something. Or right before. And then she's like, hey, we're going to do this thing pretty soon. She's like, yeah, I know. I just wanted, And then something else happens. I don't think the Doctor's going to be the reason she does the bus.
Here's my concern.
That's my concern.
My concern is, and this might be the plot, it could be interesting, but this has such
Let's hear it.
Okay.
She's an alien?
No.
Okay, good.
Nothing like that. Based on the trailer, we see the person trying to shoot at them once. It is a human being with a laser gun. is this a racist rogue time agent trying to kill Rosa Parks? Because that makes no fucking sense for a multitude of reasons.
A time agent?
Like what Jack Harkness was.
Well, no, I know,
he had
I know what a time
weapon.
agent is. I'm wondering out loud why that would be the case.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Is Doctor Who stupid enough to write a character that's stupid enough to think stopping Rosa Parks would somehow stop the civil rights movement?
I don't think that's what it is. What if it's a red herring and it's not shooting at them, it's shooting at something near them?
Rosa Parks wasn't there at the time, though, when they were being shot at, I don't think.
Sure.
Basically, the alien threat has to be incidental to the Rosa Parks thing.
Well, I think it would be like the Shakespeare episode, or like the Van Gogh episode.
And the Doctor thing. Well, those two people are famous for like their works, though. She did one thing for civil rights, which is one event specifically, and I think that makes a little bit of a difference in how you write this. So basically, the episode should be, if you're going to do
not
this,
just one thing, but the one. Sure. Yeah, anyway.
You can have, as long as you write the Rosa stuff really well and interactions with the Doctor well, because clearly they're going to talk at some point. But basically, this episode, if I was writing it, would be, and they're like, you have to write a Rosa Parks episode of Doctor Who. The premise is, the Doctor, there's an alien threat, maybe a time traveler threat, incidental to the Rosa Parks thing, and the Doctor is constantly trying to keep this threat as far away as possible, because even though it's not intentionally trying to fuck up the event, by being there, it might, and she's just constantly trying to, oh fuck, we gotta
a comedy episode with that might be fun.
Like,
but you can't go too far comedy because you don't treat it with a dick. I think it'll be fine.
I'm just afraid. I'm just afraid. Twiddly mustache. Haha! I am a racist from the future. I will stop civil rights with Rosa Parks.
I don't think that's the case because I don't think
that's the dumbest.
I don't think even racists think if I stop Rosa Parks.
That's my point, though, is that they're gonna make it such a caricature that it won't even make sense.
Yeah, no, I don't think. What I imagine is it's going to be a history road trip, a la Miss Frizzle, like it usually is with the Doctor when he wants to show his or her companion something cool.
Yeah.
And I imagine she's the same way. Like, let's go see Rosa Parks. It was a big moment. I want to take you home. I want to take you to someplace not threatening. And then it's threatening, but for the wrong reasons, and Rosa Parks happens to be in their group when that happens. I really think it's a field trip gone wrong. I do not think it's going to have anything to do with, like, racists trying to murder Rosa Parks to change the future, because that wouldn't work. That's not how anything works.
Famous last words.
I have a lot of faith in this one. So far.
We'll see what happens.
Chibnall is a guy that wrote, like, a sympathetic pedophile. In a TV series, he wrote a sympathetic pedophile.
He also wrote Cyberwoman.
I don't know what that is.
Episode of Torchwood.
I don't watch Torchwood. I don't know. That was a long time ago, and Torchwood was just awful. Not at the Showtime, Miracle Day, and was it Children of something?
Children of Earth.
Children of Earth, both very good miniseries.
Is that where aliens want to use kids as drugs?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty fucked up, though. I really like Miracle Day. You should watch Miracle Day. Nobody can die. What happens to the human race when nobody can die? We run out of everything. It's dope. It's a really good one. I think you should watch Miracle Day. Okay. It's Jack is great in that, and also Mekhi Phifer of 8 Mile fame.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway, I think this is good. This is a good episode. What do you rate it out of 10? 8? 8, 7, 5.
I'm gonna say 7, just because
7.
If I can tell when I look back on this, I like it a lot because it gives me insight into the new Doctor. I
think 7.5.
The plot itself isn't super strong. It's not that it's terrible or anything. It's just okay. We're on a race. We do some fun stuff.
I think this is an average episode of Doctor Who.
That's about right.
But I think the character building was good enough to give it the 7.5.
Okay,
and not just the 7.
Fair enough.
Right, because sometimes an average episode of Doctor Who just has a cool monster.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the monster. It's not been about the monster twice now. It's been about the characters.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that.
We'll see what happens with the Stenza. I wasn't totally sold in the first episode. I thought that was fine for a one-off thing, but if tooth monsters are going to be...
Well, they're genociding folks.
I know,
that's pretty crazy.
It's pretty Dalek-y. So
it's Dalek-y, but in a way that
I hope their
also evokes predators.
I hope their motivation is more interesting than we're being led to believe.
Okay, let's spitball that for just a second.
Okay.
What's an interesting motivation?
It can't be, we're just better than you. We're going to wipe you out. It can't be honor, because that's very Strax.
It's the same thing.
It can't be...
I think if it has to do with like how like resources.
That's so Thanos.
No, I know.
Everyone will call him out for ripping off Thanos.
No, I know, but I don't mean specifically like maybe like this is how we reproduce, not necessarily killing people, but like we need a base planet to start a thing or our species dies.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know, there's lots of Doctor Who-y things you can do with it to give them a reason to do X.
Yeah.
But I think if they have a sympathetic reason that makes sense, that isn't compatible with the Doctor's ethos, that's interesting. So whatever that is, where it makes her go, you can't kill people though. You just can't kill them.
I agree with you, and I hope that's the case. I'm just very afraid Chris Chibnall maybe went, okay, I don't want to put Daleks in this series because Daleks are overdone.
Let's make them Daleks.
So let's make some new Daleks that look different and have a visual appeal with the toothpaste thing. I will agree. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But other than that, if they're just Daleks, I'll be pretty disappointed.
It doesn't sound like it was purity, though, just from the dialogue we got in the first episode.
Maybe.
It sounded...
He definitely talked down to the Doctor, though, when he thought she was human. He was like, your puny mind. But that's pretty general.
Yeah, that's kind of aliens,
anyway.
Yeah. I think if it was going to be anything we didn't want, it would be a survival of the fittest.
Maybe, but that's still pretty Dalek-y because
kind of, but I don't think in the eugenics purity way. I think literally they'd be like, kill us or don't, and we'll kill you. I don't think it's like we're better because we're this.
Oh, we're challenging you, and if you can best us, great.
Right, which is more interesting.
That'd be fine.
I don't think it's great, but it's definitely more interesting. But I think if they have a sympathetic angle, it's more it's best.
They're not evil. They just think for the betterment of the universe, competition and this struggle is what makes things get better.
That's an interesting conversation. It's just forced evolution, Doctor, and she wouldn't see it that way. No one really sees it that way. But like, yeah, I think kind of that's at least an angle you can start working on.
Sure.
Especially when kids get involved. Like, if we don't do this, our people die out.
Yeah.
Like. So, yeah. I like when there's rock in a hard place. So, anyway, thanks for coming. Next week, we'll have the third episode, Rosa, for you. And in between that, we'll have D&D stuff for you on the channel.
If it's historical racist, I'm just going to play that clip of you saying, it can't be historical racist. That wouldn't work. Right in front of that episode.
If it's historical racist, it'll be worse than... It'll be worse.
I still don't think it beats Magic Bush.
You don't think it'll be Magic... If it's historical racist?
Historical racist is bad writing. Magic Bush isn't even writing. It's Mad Libs.
It's just like, meh.
What if her sister came out of a Magic Bush? Moffat, stop it. Oh, you know what Moffat's working on? A Dracula show I'm never gonna watch.
I'll watch one episode. The pilot will be good.
The pilot will probably be excellent.
The pilot's going to be great.
The first 2 seasons might be great.
No, it won't.
Then by
who's playing the Dracula?
They haven't decided yet. Probably Mark Gatiss.
Fucking hook an IV into my eyeball for Mark Gatiss Dracula. Fuck! I'm all over that shit. Anyway, go home. Or you're already home. Go. Away from here. Okay. Time travel racist.
I'm telling you, I am 50-50 on that it's time travel racist.